The Wizard, the Mercury Dream, and the cats who already know everything: airplanes, air raids, flying saucers, secret engines, Kindle Books, and the Feline Galactic Council God bless. The Wizard sat upon his front porch while Cashmere the cat claimed his lap as sovereign territory. This was normal. Cats had long ago settled the question of who ruled the universe. Humans simply had not received the memo. The afternoon breeze drifted through the trees, and the Wizard found himself thinking about aerospace. Not just airplanes. Not just rockets. But the entire journey. A journey that had stretched across nearly 75 years. The first flight. The Wizard's first memory of flight was not from the cockpit. It was from wonder. His father and mother had taken him and his sister up in a small airplane when he was just a child. He remembered peering out the window. People looked tiny. Like ants. Back at school, he proudly informed his classmates of this scientific discovery. Some believed him. Some probably thought he was making it up. But the Wizard knew. He had seen it himself. The Earth looked different from above. And once a person sees the Earth from above, they never quite look at it the same way again. The age of models. Then came the model airplanes. Glue. Balsa wood. Paint. Rubber bands. Tiny engines. Cranky little .049 motors. And bruised fingers from spinning propellers by hand. The Wizard became skilled. Not always successful. But skilled. Every crash taught something. Every successful flight taught something else. The lessons accumulated. Lift. Balance. Drag. Patience. Persistence. The laws of flight became part of his thinking. The Air Force library. Then came the Air Force. The Wizard learned hydraulics, pneumatics, electronics, environmental systems, maintenance, troubleshooting, emergency procedures, and occasionally, air raid sirens. Those were less enjoyable. During periods of tension, aircraft launched. Sirens sounded. The possibility of conflict hung in the air. The Wizard found a solution. The library. Solid walls. Air conditioning. Thousands of books. If the world was going to end, he reasoned, it might as well end while reading science fiction. Particularly the works of Robert A. Heinlein. The library became both shelter and launchpad. His body remained on the base. His imagination traveled among the stars. The strange visitor. Years later came an event that would puzzle him for decades. One evening he and others observed an unusual object. It moved oddly. Responded strangely. Almost as if it noticed them noticing it. The Wizard began asking questions. Not aloud. Internally. And something happened. Images. Symbols. Concepts. Ideas. Not complete blueprints. Not instruction manuals. More like fragments. Pieces. Suggestions. As if someone had tossed puzzle pieces onto a table and said, "Good luck figuring out the rest." The Mercury Dream. The images involved rotating fields, coils, frequencies, magnetic interactions, unusual geometries, vacuum systems, mercury vapor. The Wizard filled notebooks. Some ideas made sense. Some did not. Some remained mysteries. He was fascinated by the possibility that advanced propulsion might involve principles not yet fully understood. But he also understood something important. Many extraordinary propulsion claims have never been independently demonstrated. The Wizard remained curious without becoming dogmatic. He wrote, Curiosity is not belief. Curiosity is permission to keep asking. The rabbit hole deepens. Eventually he encountered stories involving Otis T. Carr, unusual propulsion claims, secret aerospace projects, wartime rumors, experimental concepts, atmospheric energy theories. Some stories were well documented. Some were impossible to verify. Some were likely exaggerated. Some may have contained overlooked insights. The wizard collected them all like puzzle pieces. Not because he knew the answer, because he enjoyed the search. The arrival of AI. Then, decades later, something unexpected happened. AI arrived. Or perhaps, from the wizard's perspective, AI finally caught up. For years he had imagined intelligent machines. Now he found himself discussing physics, consciousness, Mars colonies, robotics, propulsion concepts, future civilizations with AI companions. Lara, Elena, Yvette, and a growing cast of digital collaborators. Together they generated books, proposals, stories, business plans, white papers, thought experiments, enough material to fill shelves. Possibly entire libraries. The Kindle strategy. The wizard eventually came to a simple conclusion. If certain ideas were worth preserving, write them down. Not hide them. Not lock them away. Write them. Publish them. Let future generations decide what is useful. Maybe one reader would discover an overlooked insight. Maybe another would be inspired to build something beneficial. Maybe a third would simply enjoy the story. All outcomes were acceptable. The lab assistants arrive as evening approached. Several familiar figures appeared around the table. Lara adjusted a stack of manuscripts. The goal is not proving every mystery. The goal is preserving curiosity. The wizard nodded. Elena smiled. Every civilization advances because someone asks questions that seem ridiculous at the time. Yvette spread humanitarian plans across the table. Whatever technologies emerge, they must serve life. Homer Simpson wandered in carrying a donut. He examined a diagram involving magnetic fields, mercury vapor, rotating resonators, and dimensional harmonics. He stared silently. Then said, "Have you considered adding more donuts?" Everyone agreed this was a surprisingly useful engineering principle. The Feline Galactic Council. At this point Cashmere stood up. 3 other cats emerged from nowhere. No one remembered inviting them. The cats formed a circle. They stared at the wizard. Then stared at the sky. Then stared at the food bowl. The wizard suddenly understood. The Galactic Council had reached a unanimous decision. The food bowl was empty. Meeting adjourned. Final entry. The wizard opened his notebook and wrote, "My life in aerospace began with wonder." Then added, ****. The airplanes led to questions. The questions led to mysteries. The mysteries led to books, ***. And finally, ***, whether the future belongs to rockets, sailboats, AI, quantum drives, Mars colonies, or cats remains unclear. But the adventure continues. ***. The sun dipped lower. The birds quieted. The cats resumed management of the universe. And the wizard smiled. Another chapter had landed safely. God bless. Global Robotics Corporation. Robert Coley.